Bryan Suits is with us for Military Monday because Brian's a military guy. Every Sunday night from 10 to midnight, where Brian is heard doing military stuff.
Yeah, that's at home. On Saturday nights, 10 to midnight. I'm right here on KFI.
Oh, that's right. Did I actually say Sunday? I was just checking up on you to find out if you
I was on my toes.
Yeah, Michelle, you got to write that down someplace, okay? Just or tattoo it on my forehead or whatever. All right, the other story that I want to cover is that the intelligence community, our intelligence community, is not very happy with the revelations last week that the info hack that happened in the Pentagon had been going on for over a year. And I know that you wrote me this, and I'm still thinking that's not true. It can't be true. The Chinese Ministry for State Security has more agents in California than the FBI does.
Yep.
Holy moly! How is that happening?
By the way, they're not in Kernville checking up on environmental violations like the FBI is. They're in L.A. and San Francisco because these are the epicenters of technology, not just in California, but for the planet Earth and, of course, the United States of America. They go where the work is. And this information is being disseminated because the 4 million people who either did or do hold security clearances were really pissed because this hack went on for over a year. It was discovered in April. The Office of Personnel Management that runs every federal employee's 401k and their federal savings and all that stuff, they're lying. They were doling it out piecemeal, saying, oh, that was a hack. They may have gotten your security questionnaires. Well, it turns out they got a lot more than that, but the security questionnaire is enough. When you get a security clearance, you fill out an electronic form called an SF-86, and it's online. You can find it, sf86.pdf. It prints out as 127 pages. That's why we do it electronically, and it goes way, way back. Do you remember the street address of your junior high? Because you have to on the SF-86. You give it all up. Every address you've ever had, there can be no gaps. It gets kicked back.
Well,
how do you 1 day gap?
How do you remember?
You write it like a book. It took me 4 months to fill the darn thing out, and you give everything to the government with the assumption that if you let me keep your secrets, you'll keep mine. And so this is why this is such a betrayal of the 4 million people who are actually fighting the war on terror, and never mind the war on terror, American national security. Because obviously the Chinese have no problem doing this cyber Pearl Harbor, and this is where the community, the intelligence community, is asking, what are we going to do back? When are we going to retaliate against these guys?
We don't do that sort of thing. We should just nuke. Well, you can't.
But here's what you can do: you can flood San Pedro and Long Beach with Homeland Security agents. We can crack open every Chinese container, offload it, inventory it, and reload it. That's where they live. There is no China without American money.
Now, as far as having the need for state security agents, if it's a question of hacking, why do they have to come here at all, other than industrial espionage, other than eyeballs to what's going on in the ports?
Yeah. They have, there's that unit, the Unit 6333.
Right, that building in Beijing.
In Shanghai. And they're sitting there all day long hacking. That's just one tiny directorate of the Ministry for State Security. The Foreign Operations Directorate, the agents that are here, they're not wearing trench coats, and they're not kung fu masters. They're 47 years old, and they're here on a student visa with a wife and 3 kids. They're buying property out in the 909 or in the Valley or whatever. And they only have one specific job. They're not out hoovering up everything. They're run here as they're running shops or whatever.
And what information are they getting? You run a little shop, a Chinese restaurant. What do you get from that?
Not from the restaurant.
No, but in general, where do you get the information? How do they get it?
You're purchasing export-controlled items because your front company is out of New Mexico, and it is owned by a shell corporation in Maine, which is owned by a company in Canada that has a right to export technology, and that's owned by China. And that is how they do it. They do it like the Iranians do. And so the Chinese agent can come here to this country, and whoever, the realtor, the shop owner, he can purchase things that you can't purchase overseas. export-controlled, dual-use technology items from every electronics firm in California. So the State Department says, you can't export that night vision or whatever, but you can sell it in the U.S. So that is how they're doing it. They're casting a very broad net, and this is why the intelligence community is pissed, because they want this to be common knowledge about how little this government cares about our security. But there's more Chinese Ministry for State Security agents in California than there are FBI agents.
But all they have to do is buy one and then reverse engineer it, and they're home free.
That is what they do. That is what
so why do they need all those agents? They need one guy to go into a surplus store and buy one of those infrared little scopes.
I don't know if to give people some perspective. Approximately 60% of the world's high-tech innovation happens in about 4 different area codes in California, and we're in one right now. I mean, that's why. And you're talking about 20-year-old technology. They had that 19 years ago. I'm talking about the cutting-edge stuff where they can either mole an employee in there or just legally buy it or flat-out steal it.
All right. You're going to hang loose?
Scary.
Yeah, it is scary. I mean, the problem.
And we're doing nothing about it.
The problem with having you do this segment, or anytime you're a guest on this show, is you scare the crap out of me.
Robin told me. I have to say, don't worry, folks. Everything's okay.
Yeah.
The adults are in charge.
Yeah. At this point, he's.
We're all fine.
Yeah.
Sleep well.